cabinet. Until then, anyone out campaigning for the job or pushing for the job is not helpful to what we should all be focused on, which is winning the election.
You remember what happened to the last vice president, Mike Pence? Did Pence do the right thing by not doing what Trump asked him to do on January 6th?
Well, look, I think the Constitution was clear that neither the Congress nor the vice president had the ability to reject those electors. It's also clear that it wasn't going to work because Nancy Pelosi controlled the House.
So let me ask you, you were very clear and unequivocal in what you said on January 6th and in the aftermath. I want to pull up a quote of a specific line you said on that day. It's past time for the president to accept the results of the election, quit misleading the American people, and repudiate mob violence. More than 3 years later, Trump has still not accepted the results.
Well,
he is still misleading the American people.
He did it that very day. He put out videos and he put out statements on social media telling those rioters to stand down, just like he had said in the speech that day.
No, you said it's past time for the president to accept the results.
He still protest peacefully, John.
But he still hasn't accepted the results of the election. I mean,
John, he says, and I agree, that the election was not fair, that it was rigged in many ways, with Democratic states and cities changing election law and election practices up to the last minute, with the media, to include your network, and 51 Democratic intelligence operatives saying the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation, and social media then censoring all those things. Those were all deeply unfair.
I mean, he was talking about rigged voting machines and everything else.
And Donald Trump is not either, we never said, I don't know, crazy conspiracies about Venezuela rigging the voting machines. But look,
just one last thing on this. He's also calling the people that attacked the Capitol hostages. And he's suggesting that he may pardon all of them. I mean, I assume you don't agree with that.
He said that he would consider pardons, and some of them probably...
And he called them hostages.
Some of them probably deserve... John, some of them have been held in pretrial detention longer than the crimes for which they are...
So you agree these are hostages?
Some of them have been held in pretrial detention longer than the sentences for the crimes with which they are charged. Now, anyone who assaulted a police officer or damaged public property, that's different. For people who just wandered into the Capitol they thought was open or was on the grounds, and where's the charges?
I mean, that wasn't like wandering. This wasn't a tourist visit. I mean, you haven't said this stuff.
No, I've said for a long time that the DOJ is using investigative techniques and tactics that they didn't use, for instance, when you had a left-wing street militia threatening to assassinate Supreme Court justices. They're not using to clear out this...
But for the record, you're not in favor of pardoning people that attacked police officers or broke into the Capitol building?
No, people who were involved in that riot, who assaulted police officers or who defaced and damaged public property should face the legal consequences. But we shouldn't be using the kind of investigative...
Isn't it odd that the Republican nominee doesn't agree with that?
No, he does agree with that, John. What shouldn't be used is every grandma who had a red MAGA hat that was within a country mile of the Capitol on January 6th shouldn't be sitting in pretrial detention for a longer time than crimes for which they might face a sentence.
All right, Senator Cotton, thank you very much for joining us here this morning.